We are still talking about love, and this time we want to look at permissive parenting. Permissive parenting. Permissive parenting is not love parenting, no. Because permissive parenting does not justify, or love is not justified by being permissive. No, those are two different things. Permissive parenting is sort of weakness. It is taken as the weak side of the parent, not the weak side of the child, the weak side of the parent. It is not love at all. To be permissive is not to love. Those are two different things. To love, as we have read from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, from verse 4 to 8. Love does not rejoice in bad things. It does not rejoice in iniquity. It does not rejoice in evil. It is not jealous and so forth. There are so many things that are put there. And love also endures. So enduring is not permissive. Maybe that would be the word that we can take, which can be more close to permissiveness. But to endure is not to be permissive. So love is far away from being permissive. When you're a permissive parent, you just have a problem of being permissive. It's not that you love, no. You just have a problem of being permissive, and that's it. Now, having the problem of being permissive is one of the terrible things, because you will allow things that are not supposed to be allowed. And at the end of the day, you will cause a terrible problem in the life of the children. If something bad is happening in the child and you don't say it out because the child is young, by the time you want to try and say it out, the child will be saying to you, "You no longer love me. Because I used to do these things and you used to allow me. Now you want me to stop. That means you don't love me." So put things in order. Correct things in time. Put things in order. Correct things in time. We correct using love. Like what the book of Ephesians says. Speaking the truth in love. Speaking the truth in love. In the last semester, we talked about looking into two things, which the love doesn't like, and the other one, the love do love. The one that he didn't like was iniquity. So, if anything bad is happening, let it be corrected. And then the other thing which love likes was truth. Anything that is true, believe it. Believe it. Very clear, which gives us a very clear character of a parent who was permissive. And his name was called Eli. Eli was a priest in the house of Israel. Very known priest, served the Lord very well, served the children of Israel very well. But he had a problem when it comes to parenting. So the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2, I'm reading from verse 22. Now Eli was old, and heard all things that his son did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he said unto them, "Why do you do such things? For I heard of your evil dealings by all these people. Nay, my son, for it is not good report that I hear. You make the Lord's people to transgress. If one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against the Lord, who shall entreat for him? Notwithstanding, they hearkened not the voice of their father, because the Lord will slay them. And the child Samuel grew and was in favor with both the Lord and also men. So we are given there two things which are very important. The sons of Eli and another son called Samuel, whom Eli pronounced to be born to a mother was barren, then given to the house of God to serve in the house of God when he was young. So you see, Eli is trying to rebuke his children, which is very good. At least he was trying. But there's one thing that Eli failed to do. He failed to control. There are two different things: rebuking and controlling. A rebuke must be followed by a control. Do I mean that you have to be controlling or dominating or authoritative? That's not the point. The point is as simple as you must see to it that what you say is being done or followed. And we do it in love. We do it in love. So Eli gave a good warning and even told the children what the word of God says. The Lord will judge you. And the judgment is very bad because you might also end up being killed. Remember, this was not the time of grace. It was the time of law. So really, he meant it according to the law. That wasn't a compromise. That wasn't too much. That wasn't lack of love. But the love that Eli had was not the love we are talking about. Because Eli had the permissive love. He was a permissive parent. We all know the story that as Samuel was growing in the house of Eli, one day the Lord called Samuel. And Samuel didn't know what's happening, so he went to Eli. You have called me. He said, no, I have not called you, my son. Go back to sleep. And it happened. After it happened a few times, then Eli understood that the Lord is calling this young man. So Eli said to him, go back. If you hear the voice again, say, here I am, Lord, speak. And when he did that, God spoke to Samuel. And the message was of the judgment of Eli's children. That's not a good thing. That's a very bad thing, my dear. Permissiveness is when we see the child doing something wrong. Then we don't correct it. Or the child does something wrong and we don't take steps to control so that we may deal with the problem and end it as early as possible. You see that when the child is growing up, I'll take you back to that early age. You say the child is around 1 year old, 8 months, and so forth. The child will be crawling around the house. The child wants to pick up something. Take for an example, the child wants to pick up, wants to get onto the laptop. Maybe the laptop is just there, close to the laptop. But what normally happens in normal circumstances, when the child gets closer, the child sits down and look at you. The child is seeking approval. Is seeking approval. So many of us, we do lose it there and there. This is when permissiveness starts. If I say nothing, the child will touch and look at me. Or some will straight away touch it. I have to say no. If they look at me for approval, the answer is no. Some children will laugh for nothing, trying to brush it away, then they'll move forward. The next thing is I should pronounce it again, no. And no must mean no. Don't say no when you want to say yes. A no is a no. And the child must understand that a no means no. I'm not saying that I should be angry. No. Always when you lift up your voice, there is a level which you can go, and you can't go beyond that level. And children are very good psychologically to detect how far you can go. So when you push up your voice and you get to the highest level, the highest note, you do it again, the child knows that, okay, I've seen that if they go up, this is where they end. Now once they end here, that's it. I can go ahead, they'll give up. That's all I am expecting. What do I mean? If a parent is always spanking the child, during those old years, you would know. If your parent is always spanking, you would know that this parent is going to spank me, my father is going to spank me, my mother is going to spank me because of what I've done. So what's the next thing? You prepare your feelings to be spanked. Like a boxer who prepares his feelings to receive those punches, no matter how hard they are. But he says, I'll make it. They go. That's how far children can go, actually, when you're always on that. So I'm not talking of being dominating. So even permissive parents do also raise up their voices, but they do nothing. It's just the raising of the voice. They're like an old dog without teeth. And the Bible says, a dead lion is better. Now, understand this in simple terms. A permissive parent don't make sure that things are done the way they should be done. Some do feel that I might hate my child. And those who mainly feel I might hate my child are, in most cases, those ones who have gone through rejection, maybe when they were growing up, or they are just that moment into rejection. Because they felt pain, they don't want to cause their children to feel pain. Normally, when parents go through rejection or are going through rejection, those two things, when they've gone through rejection, maybe from the time they were in their mother's womb or when they were growing up, or they are going through rejection that very moment, or they've gone through rejection during the time of divorce, any of those things, when they go through a situation which is not good, which causes them to feel rejected, two things do happen in most cases. It's either they will be permissive, or they will be dominating, or they will be authoritative. So if they become permissive, that's a very dangerous thing. They feel, I might hate my child. It is not what the child is going through, but it is what they went through which causes them not to be able to control. They see their pain in their child when there is no pain at all. They see their pain in the child when they are not supposed to see it. They see their tears in the child when what the child needs to be stopped from will never bring any tear at all. But what happens then is if you allow them to go ahead, yes, the same tears which you were feeling will be coming on you. The same pain which you didn't want to be on them will still come back to you. So there are just two things. Either allow them to go ahead and feel pain tomorrow, or stop it. Stop that problem there and there and feel joy tomorrow. It's any of the two. You choose what you want. But permissive parentness is very bad. In the case of Eli, there was war, and his sons went out to war. They were killed. They could not get protection from God because they were killed, because they were sinners. They were killed. And when they were killed, it was so bad, so much that when the father heard of the news, the father also died. If hours earlier I was going to deal with them, let them feel pain there and there. If he had done that, he was not going to die the way he died. So if you don't correct the problem, the same problem will haunt you tomorrow. Permissive parenting is always associated with future tears or future cries or future pain, emotional pain. So don't allow yourself to go through emotional pain tomorrow. Deal with it today. Like I said, a child who is just young, an infant, will look at you for approval and you keep quiet. By keeping quiet, you have approved. And the child goes ahead and do it because there is approval. My mother approved it. My dad approved it. And when anything happens, then there is no trouble. Parents should look into all things from as early as the day the child is born. What must be said no must be said no to. What must be said yes must be said yes to. And there should be also a follow-up to see that the things you have said are being followed. Without a follow-up, it's going to be a big problem tomorrow. That's permissiveness. As they start to go to school, meeting other people, they also bring in new things into the family. Don't allow anything that is not correct, that is not good. I was talking to another parent who had a problem when the child would always bring things that the child has stolen from school. And as I was talking to the parent, we finally discovered that the child was doing that. Because the first day the child came with a pen, which was very nice. The child took a book and started to write. And that was a usual thing the child do. But this time it was done in a very unusual way. In a very unusual way because the child had to bring the book in front of the parents and then start to write in front of the parents. Usually the child would take his books and just do whatever he's doing. But this time in front, just in front. The intention was for the parents to see the good pen he was holding in his hand. But the parents, yes, of course, they knew that the child, they saw it, yes, that the child was holding the pen, which they never bought. But they said, maybe he got it from his friend. By keeping quiet, they approved. And after some time, the child went on to steal things from other people. Alarm bell, it became a very terrible thing in them now when the child started to steal from their purses. But then this time the child was already in drugs. The child loved good things, but they never taught the child how to get good things. The time they came to me, it was so terrible because he was already in drugs. But some time before, when he started going into drugs, they were missing small coins, a few coins, from their purses. And because he's the only child, they never bothered. They said, after all, it's just a pound. After all, it's just 5 pounds. Until the child was now stealing 50 pounds, 100 pounds. And is now into stealing straight away from their bank using the computer. Because everything was there saved on their laptops. And the police are now looking for him, day in and day out. So when we were talking, they said, yes, it was that day when he brought the pen. If they had told him there and there, where did you get that pen? Or asked him, where did you get that pen? Where? Tell me. Whose pen is it? Oh, I've been given my friend. Why? Why should your friend give you? I said to my daughter one day when she brought a very nice toy, little toy. Where did you get it from? Oh, my friend gave me. I said, why should your friend give you? What had happened? No, just give me. I told you, I don't want you to bring in things from your friends. Then I gave her a good short lesson. Some people will give you things because they want something from you. Some people will give you things because they want to seek love from you. Some people will give things so that you may give them your body in sex. Some people will give you things because they just have a habit of giving other people things. So there's no way you can find out which one or which is which from these examples I've given you. Then as we were talking, I asked her, so how can you stay safe from such dangers? And then she said, the best thing is to not to take anybody's things. I said, yes, that's exactly. Stay away from some people's things because you don't know the hidden gender. There is always a hidden gender when children are giving each other things at school. So never accept a gift never accept it when a child comes to you saying, I've been given a gift. At the same time, you have to tell them not to pick other people's things that you find left on the table, left on the desk, on the floor, or even in the playgrounds. When you find something, give it to the teachers. Give it to anyone who is there, who is responsible. Don't bring in my house anything that is not yours. Don't stop there. If you find that you have something that you want, maybe you have seen it from school, let me know. And if you let me know, if I have money, I'll buy it. If I don't have money that time, I'll make sure that sometime I'll buy it for you. So, let me know. And after saying those words, that is what we call love. You are building your love with your child. You are building what you call attachment, the bond. Because attachment comes naturally from the mother's womb, but it must be maintained. So in simple terms, you are maintaining it. So next time the child finds something good, a toy, whatever, the child needs it. I need this. Where do you find it? Oh, I saw somebody with it. That's good. Let's go and try and find it out. See where we can get it from. How much do you think it is? Or let's go to town. Oh, yes, here it is. Then, oh, this is beautiful. I tell you, it's good. Even myself, I would love it. How much is it? Okay, let me check. I'm sorry, right now I don't have this money. But I'll buy it. I'll buy it. As soon as I get money for you. I get money, I'll buy it for you. Don't worry, I'll buy it. You have to close the door, but you must also bring a solution to the issue of temptation. A solution to the issue of temptation. Because they are tempted by other children. And how do you solve the temptation? You should bring an end to the temptation. So, you don't have to be a permissive parent. Because some few things will happen if you're a permissive parent. It's either you cry tomorrow. You'll be in pain. You might even lose the child. Permissiveness does not build. It kills the relationship. It kills the love. It destroys the parent's future. Also destroys the child's future. So stay away from permissiveness. Be a strong parent. And do your work. To be a parent is to be trusted by God. To be given that authority to take the child into the next level, the best one of the future. Parenting is not when you have money. No.